Hey everybody, this is going to be a bit of a different furry rants video. If you are from the TwoKinds community, you know exactly why you're here, especially on the subreddit, but I'll fill you in. Essentially, there was a post recently made on the TwoKinds subreddit by not a moderator, but by someone very notable called Dan Vaelling, talking about the transphobia within the TwoKinds community. So, the post came out around 16 hours ago as of the time I was recording this. It was late at night on the 17th of April. Obviously, that's a different time zone for me and all the others. But yeah, it was probably around midnight when this post by Dan Vaelling popped up on the r/TwoKinds subreddit. It basically says that the TwoKinds subscriber base is full of transphobia and horrible comments made when a sketch of Natani, a canonically trans man, is drawn. And Tom's apparently tolerated it for years and allowed some very poor taste Natani sketches to the votes. You can find it all in this paste bin made by another mod who gave me approval to do this, Orthonox. These are all fan-submitted suggestions of Natani that Tom Fishback has allowed for people to vote on. A lot of these are going to be very similar. They're mostly going to be basic suggestions with she instead of he, for instance, such as this first one. Keith and Nat cuddling on the couch. Natani runs their fingers across the faint scar from where the arrow pierces his chest from their first fight as Keith comforts them. Now, I was under the impression when I first saw this that this would be not transphobic, but according to Dan Vaelling it is. I'll pull up the comment right now. So you can see stuff like bunny suits. This is what I mean. Hiding Natties gives her well-defined abs. Because Natani's pronouns are he, him, we all know this. He's a trans man. This includes ones that got coloured. So, for example, Natani's showing off Keith to her parents. This is transphobic by one because of the term she. Of course, Natani's not a she. I will put the source for all these in the description so you can go read through them yourself. They'll also be at the top of the comment. Nathan as a maid. I don't know who Nathan is, but this one did get coloured. Gift box on this crotch. Becky Natani's going to wrap her gift. Obviously, not her. If we go back to the Reddit post, however, you can see that there are some testimonials in these comments. I'm going to put a few of them up on the screen right now. These testimonials are people who talk about how transphobic the community is and how it's not been too amicable in the time. Next up, I want to talk about things that have been tried to be done. So, for one, let's start with this. This is a thing that Dan Vaelling commented many years ago. This comment from Dan Vaelling, you can read it right now. It's on the screen, of course. Making fun of forcibly down trans people, potentially exposing them to a harmful, dangerous, and far too often deadly environment in life. It's deeply offensive and straight up transphobic. And it is. Next up, I want to show you something interesting. These are pretty asshole-ish comments that have been shown across all of the Patreon, where people are being extremely transphobic. For example, she's a woman, cope. She's literally not. Her soul has been flying solo for a while. Why is she sweating? Even this one is disgusting. She's a woman, not a... Cisphobia isn't welcome here. That is a disgusting comment. And the fact that I read it out loud is a little bit disgusting. I really do apologise. I did not mean to say that. It slipped my mind until I started editing this video. Not only because of the use of a transphobic slur, but also the term cisphobia. Transphobia is not a real word. It kind of is. It's the same thing with homophobia, with xenophobia. They're all words. One more thing I note about this comment is the phrase, I trust biology and science over people's feelings. Your gender is about as biologically connected to you as your sex is. So, this guy is straight up wrong. Love me some Lady Wolf. She's gonna be beautiful. English, 100. I spoke for a bit too long in this section, but it's just showing the stream chat recap. And you can read it in the comments via source number 4. Simple one. So he says, I figure people must run out of things to say at some point. Seems like the same thing over and over again. And that's the thing with this sort of community and this sort of ideology of, you know, being anti-trans. It is the same argument over and over again. It's a bit like Flat Earth. It's the same stuff over and over again. It's not clever. It's not logical. Back to the Reddit posts. There is a message left for Mr. Fishback himself from Dan Vaelling that reads the following. Tom, if this post resonates with you, I invite you to voice your own thoughts and feelings in the comments, whether you're LGBTQ plus yourself or just fed up with the incessant toxicity. And also, this also calls for a boycott of Tom's Patreon. That's it for me. That's it for me right now. But essentially, if you too long didn't want to listen, this is a call out of a lot of the transphobic things that are said, especially regarding Natani. So I've had some testimonials from trans, non-trans allies like myself. And through permission, through Dan Vaelling and Orthonox, I've been allowed to post this video. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope the situation does get resolved.